Hello everyone and welcome back. As promised, we are going to install Containerlab, or for short CLab, in this video. All we need to do is to head to this URL containerlab.srlinux.dev, which I will be also linking in the video description. Then we are going to head to this installation. Scroll down. Alright. There are two ways that you can install this software, either through bash curling or through the package managers. I'll choose the package manager, and since I'm on a Red Hat based Linux, I'm gonna go with Yum. Let's copy all of this, go to my terminal, paste them in. It's not gonna work out because it needs elevated privileges. So let's try with sudo. There, sudo. Yes. And done. All right, but how do we actually use it? For this example, I'm going to use Juniper routers, and Containerlab needs topology files to be able to spin up your routers and connect them together. Where do we get them from? Let's go to our GitHub page. So if you go to github.com/Inmanta, then on examples page, let's actually clone all of this. Do I have Git here? No. Yum install Git. Sudo. It's gonna take a while. Git clone. Perfect. But let's actually see or view it in a graphical way to get a better understanding. So if we go back to the GitHub page, if you go to networking, by the way, you can read all of this. It will give you a very good introduction on what we are trying to achieve and how we have gathered and put these examples together. All right, let's say Juniper. Here on this page, you can see snippets or examples of how to configure different kind of configuration or different types of services on Juniper routers. That holds true for other vendors as well. For example, Cisco or Nokia, they are under their own folders. But what I'm trying to showcase here is the Containerlab part of it. We are gonna get back to all of these examples in later videos. So let's go to Containerlab folder. All right, there are a few things here. Startup configuration files and a topology file. Containerlab needs this topology file. If we open it, you can say it is almost identical to Docker files. So on top we have the name of the project, the management network we've defined. Then we are having a topology file which consists of two Juniper routers, Juniper router A, Juniper router B. You can see we have given them kind here and here. The image that we are going to use, if you go back to my terminal, if I clear this up, Docker images, you can see they're identical. So in case you get these images and they're having a different name, make sure to just tag them and make it compliant with this topology file, or change the topology file. All right, this is their IP address, SSH port and netconf port. And down at the bottom, you can see here we can link these two routers together. This is a very cool feature of Containerlab. All right, let's go back to my terminal. Let's go to examples, networking, Juniper, Containerlab. It's the files. All right, to spin up the routers, the command is sudo clab deploy -t topology. Let's press enter. All right, let me just make it a little smaller for a better view. All right, as you can see, the routers are running, but it will take some time for them to boot up. We can actually view this boot up process. Let's just grab this, for example, and say docker logs tacf. Oops. And the container is booting up. It will take some time. My machine is having 16 gigabytes of RAM, 4 CPU cores. Your mileage may vary. Once it is loaded, I'm gonna come back. Okay, 10 minutes have passed, and as you can see, the boot up process has been completed. Now, one point that I would like to mention here is, if you check the logs of your container and you see that they have crashed, it could be because your virtual machine is lacking the nested virtualization support. How can you check that? I have an article here. Let's go there. Here in this article, depending on your CPU, whether it's AMD or Intel, you can check whether the feature is disabled, enabled, and in case it is disabled, how to enable it. All right, let's head back to my terminal. Now we need to connect to one of our routers and make sure everything is okay. Let's consult clab on how to connect to one of the routers. Sudo clab inspect tag-t topology, enter. All right. You can connect to the routers in two ways, either using the name here or just an IP address, whatever flows your boat. I'll choose the name. That's SSH admin at router A. The password is admin at 123. By the way, the username and password for this router and the other vendors is mentioned on our GitHub page. So if you go back to GitHub, under Juniper folder, if you scroll down, you see all the required information about this Juniper module, how to set up the Containerlab, what images you need, and here you can see the default credentials. All right, let's go back to my terminal. Now that we are connected to the router, we need to apply an initial configuration to be able to interact with the router through Inmanta software. If you remember, the initial configuration is also hosted on our GitHub page. Let's go there. Under Juniper Containerlab, in my case, router A. Let's copy all of this. Go back to the router. Okay, configure. Load, replace terminal. Paste all the config down. Control D. And there we have it. Let's commit and exit. Let's go to exit. Let's go to router B. Yes. Admin at 123. Configure. Load, replace terminal. Let's grab the configuration for that router as well. Paste it in here. Control D, commit, and exit. Okay, this is all we needed to prepare these routers for later interaction. In the next video, we are gonna install Inmanta software, and then we will go through some of the examples we have. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.